My name is Ariane van Buren. I am a post-baccalaureate student at SPS, and I have a PhD already, so I'm not in a degree program. I can take any course in the university as long as they'll let me in. I started out actually taking a course over in the architecture and urban planning because that was my undergraduate degree, and I was looking for some way to combine that with a long career in climate change and shareholder activism, and which had gone down a dead end and got less interesting, a little monotonous. And it was just before Hurricane Sandy, about 6 months before. And I wanted to find how are they going to pump out the subways? The trustees of the MTA, whom I'd interviewed, said, "Oh, no problem, we can pump anything. We pump X thousands of gallons a day on a sunny day." So that was kind of ironic. The first course I took, I took a course actually in urban planning, and I audited another one on infrastructure and resilience, and was asked to help teach that because I have a long background in these fields. So I did that, and then I thought, well, that was pretty fun. So I went over to the Earth Institute, and they said, "Oh, you could teach this and this and this." But I was adjunct, teaching one course that I designed on how investors influence corporate behavior on sustainability within the MSc in Masters of Science in Sustainability that's here at SPS. So I knew a lot of the students as students. But I was also taking one course. I took GIS mapping because I went to college before computers, and I love maps, and that was just a... Anyway, took a long time to get the homework assignments done. They weren't particularly, the tutorials weren't particularly well written and so on, but the teachers were great. And I discovered even over at Barnard, they had a superb teacher there who has since died, a young guy who worked up at Lamont Doherty. So I was taking history. I was particularly taking modern Middle East history and Palestinian history. And I wanted to take something in voice because I sing, and then my singing voice is high now, although it used to be low, and my speaking voice is low, so I wanted to understand the voice better. And instead I got into an acting class. Now, acting was way beyond me, but I was fascinated with it. I mean, I did the class, and then did acting Shakespeare, and then I did a dramaturgy course, which is sort of all about theater except directing. And then I got into a directing class in the Columbia MFA in theater arts. And that was also, I realized I had no background. I hadn't done nothing in theater. I'd always loved going to the theater, but I had no idea that I could be part of it, and I had a lot of stage fright, even though I've done a lot of teaching and speaking, but acting was a whole different thing. But the teacher was fabulous, and I gained tremendous insight into the magic that goes on in theater and how a director can urge an actor to move to the next step and see what the next step would be. So I was fascinated with that, and then I took a directing class. I took the directing class and realized I had no background in it. So I went back to Barnard and started the undergraduate directing program. I wasn't a major. I didn't get to do things that were designed for undergraduates, but I got to take all the classes I wanted to, and I'm now a theater director. A whole new turn of life. And I'm applying for outside programs, and I actually just got in a very competitive national program up at Vassar, a summer program. I made it onto the wait list, which I certainly wouldn't have expected, and I'm going to be assistant director in another show up in Maine in the community theater, and then, or regional theater, and then I've been asked to be a dramaturg in a performance at the Signature Theater, and worked on the Under the Radar Festival at the Public Theater. So one thing is leading to the next, and the courses were fabulous. And the most interesting teachers were very encouraging about someone starting a new career. They gave me sort of professional gigs and all kinds of gigs, anything they could. I'd say less secure teachers had more ego involved and probably found it bizarre to have someone in the class who was older than they. So it's been, it's been across the board, but I've taken every possible theater class I can. There are almost none left to take. And it's been fabulous. I now have as much background as anyone starting an MFA program. And I, in fact, wanted to find out whether I needed an MFA. And instead, all the teachers have said, no, you got to get to work. You got to even do that to get into an MFA program. So, it's a whole new turn of life, and I would never have thought it. I worked in, I have an undergraduate degree in architecture and history of art, and then I worked in energy planning in the UK and in developing countries, national energy planning. And then I came back, ran a think tank in Holland, and I came back to this country. Oh, and I also did a PhD on the market for firewood and charcoal in Nicaragua, and as part of energy policy. And then when I came back to this country, the South Africa divestment movement was winding down, and I got a job to start up the environmental shareholder activism for all these activist religious nuns. And I did that, and then I wanted to get into the bigger money, the big pension fund money, and to help make climate change into an investment issue, and not just an environmental ghetto issue, but how is it actually going to affect investments? And that's what led to the teaching career here. So it's been absolutely fabulous. Yeah. Excellent. And I just want to recommend it to anybody. For the post-baccalaureate program, you need to have a BA transcript and write 500 words about what you want to do here, and then you can take courses for as long as you want. And it's really exciting.